welcome back to another episode of Guitar Talk with Todd here at Todd Beebe Music. Thank you all so much for checking in and joining me today. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Help me out, and thank you so much to all of you that already do subscribe and are on board with me. You know I appreciate it. Love each and every one of you for being on board with me, so thank you so much. Find me on Facebook at Todd Beebe Music. Today we have another awesome guitar review. This is the infamous Gibson Robot guitar. This could be said that it was the model that sank the Henry J era there in 2007. These first came out, and there's a bunch of reviews online about these, you guys, so go ahead and check them out. Everybody kind of already knows about these. They have a real bad stigma that follows them around and stuff, and the deal with these is, or with this particular one anyway, I'm not going to go full on into all the stuff with the robot tuning and all that. Yes, you can strum the strings and the tuners tune themselves. We know that. You know, real quick, like I said, these came out in 2007. Henry kind of became obsessed with the electronic robot tuner things, and I think that peaked out with the Firebird X that came out, and that just really sent Gibson off the edge, I think, with their reputation and whatnot. And obviously Henry never recovered from that, and he was basically forced out of Gibson, and new ownership came in, and that's all been documented 9 Ways to Sunday, so I won't really go into that. But a private owner brought this in, and what I want to kind of feature today with this is that this has the old-fashioned Tronical tuners on it, which we're going to get you know, some close-ups of in the case like we always do. And the thing with these, you could pull the tuners out, and we're going to demonstrate all this in a second, and really it was a lot easier to tune, and it just feels like a normal tuner. I know later on they introduced the G-Force tuners, and those you can do either robot tuning or manual tuning. You don't have to change anything, but the big complaint people have always had is it feels like you shouldn't be. It's like you're grinding the gears or something if you do it manually. And I know these Tronical tuners have a bad rep for not holding up, and as a matter of fact, these right on this very model, the G and I think the D string kind of work sometimes they don't. But the owner and myself checked this out, and the way they like to play it is just as a normal guitar. So that's the thing I never really got about all the flack on these, was that if you don't want to use it that way, just pull them out and use it as a regular guitar. I get it, I guess. You know, if you're not going to use it that way, what's the point of having these big bulky things on here? So I kind of get where people were coming from with that, but I don't quite have all the hate for these guitars as most people do. It's actually a very cool guitar in a lot of regards. First of all, this blue burst finish, Gibson said they were never going to use this finish on any other guitar except these, which was the first edition limited run of these that came out in 2007. It's a really cool finish. Doesn't have binding around here. The body reminds me of basically a Les Paul Studio, but then you do have binding on the neck like you would on a standard. Real nice headstock here, bound headstock, mother of pearl Gibson logo, and the crown there. We've got the special robot guitar, you know, limited edition truss rod cover in silver. That looks cool. Ebony fingerboard with the trapezoid inlays, 3-way toggle, 490, 498 humbucking pickups in here. Nothing really special about those. ABR1 style two-pneumatic bridge, and then the stop bar, which is actually wired underneath, and that's where a lot of your robot signaling, you know, and everything comes from. And then of course we have the 2-volume, 2-tone controls, which the bridge pickup tone control for the bridge pickup, if you don't pull this out, it just functions like a normal, you know, let's get some tones here, you know, treble tone rather. So you can kind of hear that. You've either got the deeper tone or brighter, just like you would with a regular control. But the minute you pull it out, that's when all the stuff kind of gets different on this, which we're going to check out in a minute, and that activates the tuning modes and all that. But like I said, if you just pull these out and use them as a regular, like a regular guitar, and use them as regular tuners, this functions very well. I've been playing this for hours today before I did the review here, and I've had no tuning issues whatsoever with these tuners. Again, I'm just using them manually. They're pulled out. I'm not doing any robotic stuff. The tone on this thing is great, just like what you'd expect out of a Les Paul, because you got mahogany body, maple tops. A lot of this stuff is the same as what you'd expect on a Les Paul. 490, 498 humbucking pickups. That's, you know, standard. There's thousands of Les Pauls out there that have those in them. It's not a bad guitar at all. I find it interesting too. You'll see a lot of these that are called like unbodied out there these days. This is being recorded in 2024. And basically what that means is people have taken off the robot tuners and put Grovers on or whatever. And, you know, that's fine too. I mean, it makes for a really cool, you know, playing guitar. And you've just got a Les Paul here with a really cool, unique color. I don't know. I find it interesting. A lot of I saw a video not too long ago where a guy filmed it recently, and he was saying that if these came out today in 2024, he doesn't think they'd get as bad of a rep, and people wouldn't think twice about it. I kind of tend to disagree with that because. Let me say if it was a different company that did that, maybe, and if they were just known for only robot guitars. For some reason, Gibson guitars, specifically people that like Les Pauls and in general Gibson guitars, they're just known for their heritage. And yeah, people want that. They're thinking, you know, Jimmy Page, Peter Green, Eric Clapton, Slash, you know, that's what they've kind of built their fan base on, and just good old-fashioned quality. Gibson was a pioneer in all of that stuff. So guitar players are a really weird breed when it comes to that kind of stuff. We don't really like a lot of change. And if we do, we want it to be like a whole new company. Hey, these guys are doing robot guitars. Check this out. But when Gibson does it, it's like people right away are like, wait, what? Like, they don't like that. Not saying I necessarily agree with that, but I guess I'm part of that problem as well. I'm kind of a traditionalist too, and always have been. I just like bare bones. Those of you that watch this channel know my all-time favorite Les Paul is the 54 with the stop bar, no tune-o-matic, string it up and go. Maple top, mahogany body. I just love 54s with the P90s. That's I'm home when I'm playing one of those. But, you know, I do get from the company standpoint, they kind of have to innovate and they feel like they have to move forward. So I do get it. I think Henry went a little bit off the deep end. Again, if you watch this channel, you know I don't slag on Henry because he was also responsible for 90s Gibson, which to me is the second greatest era besides the 50s golden era of Gibson. 50s and early 60s, 90s Gibson rules supreme, in my opinion. I love everything from 90 to 2000 that they put out. That was top-notch stuff. You'll hear people refer to especially like the first 5 years, 90 to 95, as like the good wood era. Some people think that's a myth. Some people don't. I tend to agree with it because every one I've ever picked up is like a perfect weight. The wood is great. The tone, the feel. Henry was out to show the world that Gibson could still do great stuff. He had just purchased the company and he just turned the ship around and got it right back on track. But then starting right around the time with this in 2007, I don't really know what happened. I think he got a little bit crazy. I remember reading something shortly after these came out where he was saying like all our guitars are going to start having robot tuners on them. And, that's too bad. If you don't like it, that's the way it's going to be. And if you don't want to use them, just use them as regular tuners. You don't have to worry about it. And I think he just kind of lost everyone at that point. I mean, if you want to put a model out that specifically is like that and that's all it is, fine. But to just say every guitar coming out of Gibson from now on we're thinking is going to have robot tuners, that was not the way to go with a company like Gibson, where people are kind of looking at it for more of their traditional and pure stuff that they know. But anyway, I don't mind this guitar at all. I think it's great. My thought on that is like, if you could pick one of these up, why not? They're not super expensive these days. If you can find one on the used market, there's quite a few of these out there. Don't quote me on the exact number. What I want to say, they did 3,000. Might have even been 4,000. Comment below if you guys know. I'm talking about this initial limited run in 2007. I think it was 3,000 though. So in the big picture, that's not a very limited run. 3,000 guitars is a lot of guitars. I mean, there's models out there that have, only a couple hundred or whatever, and you can find them. So 3,000, not that bad at all. They're definitely out there. And, you won't have a problem getting a hold of one. And if you do, my opinion is leave it with the robot tuners on because it's something different. If you want a regular Les Paul, there's millions of them out there. Go get one. But these are a different breed. And, so I don't have any problem leaving the tuners on and just using them as regular tuners. Let's kind of check that out and see how these work a little bit closer. Okay, so I don't want to get super crazy with this. Like I said, there's a million other videos out there. Just look up tuning a robot guitar, and they go way more in depth with their videos than I'm going to right now. Plus, like I said, two of the tuners are kind of iffy on this, so they don't really work 100% anyway, which was a big problem with these Tronical tuners, which is why a couple years after this, they switched to the G-Force tuners. But anyway, what you basically do to tune this guitar, it's all done off this master switch here, which is basically the treble, bridge pickups, tone control. And what we've got to do, you're going to make sure these are pressed in. So like I was saying, you can pull these out and you can hear that click, and then you can use it as a regular tuner, and then you're going to push those in if you don't want to use it that way, if you want the robot tuning. So out is manual, and then back in is robot. So we're going to make sure all of these are pushed in for right now. And you'll kind of just get a basic idea. Pull this out, and you'll see the lights come on. And then the volume cuts out, and basically we're going to just strum the strings. And you can see the tuners moving there on their own. And basically it's telling you down here if you're in tune or not. So it's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, I'm not going to go crazy with demonstrating all that because it's been done 9 ways to Sunday. But me personally, and the private owner too, we're kind of preferring just pulling these out right now. And then you can basically just use this as a, just as regular tuners. So that's definitely kind of the way to go more to me with this guitar, especially on this one because the tuners don't work. And again, you could take these off, slap new Grovers or whatever on here. But if you could use them as regular tuners, what's the difference anyway? Like I said, I've played this for hours today. I haven't had any slipping, anything going out of tune. It's just playing spot on, using it with manual tuning. The minute I try the robot tuning, everything gets a little bit weird, and then you have to go back in and do it manually anyway. So, but anyway, let's check this out closer in the case like we always do. Here we go. Okay, so here is the case for the Gibson Les Paul Robot guitar. Obviously, this is period correct and original because there you can see right there on the front, Robot Guitar, limited edition, first production run. They did these silver cases, and like I said, obviously this is what these came in, and they never duplicated those again. Had the Gibson USA on there. That's the other thing I kind of want to point out about these is that, you know, these were done by the Gibson USA plant, not the custom shop. But again, everybody had their eye on these. The whole world was like, what are these robot guitars? And looking. So Henry J was making sure that the quality on these was top notch. And it is. I mean, whether you love them or not, you cannot say that the quality on these is bad. I mean, everything on here is top notch. Ebony fingerboard, plays great. I love that blue burst. Personally, I think that looks great. So again, as far as quality on these, it's impeccable, but you know, they just get slagged off right away if people hate robot guitars. But anyway, let's get in here and get a look at some of this stuff. There's our 490, 498 humbucking pickup, standard stuff. That is a special style ABR1 type two-pneumatic bridge that works with this robot guitar. And like I said, that's a special stop bar tailpiece as well. They have the white plastic nibs in there to kind of, you know, sheath, whatever you want to call that, to sort of what that is to get so that one string vibration doesn't go across to another one and help, you know, confuse the tuner is what those are on, as I was told by Gibson. And if you look underneath the third string right there under the stop bar, you can see that silver piece down there. That's got like a wire connected to it. I'll see if I can get a shot from back here as well. Yeah, and that's basically a lot of stuff that goes right into the body and controlling your robot. That's where the signal's coming from. So that's definitely essential. If you're not using any of the robotics, then obviously that isn't essential. You don't really need that, but that's where that is located and what that's for. Like I said, 2-volume, 2-tone controls here. This just functions normally unless you pull it out like we did earlier, and then you can press in the top to do various things and turn this to get different tunings. You can do drop D and just all kinds of stuff. There's a strobe tuning feature on there for intonation. I mean, a lot of different things, but again, Tronical tuners didn't really hold up very well. Like on this model, a lot of them quit working, and so it kind of just didn't work out very well for the initial run, which also helped them get a bad rep. And then eventually they switched to the G-Force tuners, and then those were just done all together as far as robot tuners go. But going up the neck here, ebony fingerboard, which is just awesome looking with those trapezoid inlays. Like I said, it plays great feeling neck, and if you were blindfolded, you wouldn't know any different. Just a great feeling Les Paul. And then we've got our awesome looking headstock there with the Gibson logo and the crown, and the limited edition robot guitar truss rod cover in silver there, which looks very cool as well. One thing I should talk about real quick before we flip this over, as far as charging this, it came with all this stuff except the guitar cable, and basically you just plug this into the pack and then plug one end of your cable into the other end of the pack, and then this just goes right into your output jack on the guitar, and it charges the electronics. That's pretty much how you charge that. But again, if you're just using it how we are here manually, you don't have to charge anything. All right, so let's flip this over, get a look at the back like we always do. Okay, so there is the pack that controls the tuners, obviously, right there, as you can see, and Tronical tuners that are listed right there on the side. I mean, obviously, those things are huge and bulky, and that's just why a lot of people like to get them off. They don't bother me, and like I said, they work just fine as manual tuners. So, you know, if it doesn't bother you like it does me, go ahead and just leave them on and use them manually. But a lot of people just want to get those off right away and turn them into unbotted, as they're called. So dark blue burst here on the back, trying to focus on the neck. So like I said, from here it pretty much just looks like a standard Les Paul until you get around here. I've got the clear control cavity here for the three-way toggle, just pretty much normal except for the clear cover there where you could see in, and then of course the clear cover there for the control cavity for the 2 volume and 2 tone, and obviously the Tronical tuners, and there's just a ton of wiring going on in there with the battery, which gets charged, and again, that all just gets charged by plugging right into the output jack like you would do, you know, normally. All right, let's get a look at the sides here on this like we always do. All right, so there is our strap button, which is normal, but as always on this show, we are constantly powered by Strap Tight around here. Stop altering your guitars, stop dropping your guitars, throw on a Strap Tight and you are done. So definitely check them out at straptight.com. You can see the maple top there, like a little bit lighter. It just looks cool. Like I said, it reminds me of a Les Paul Studio with no binding. It just looks great. Coming all the way down here to our other strap button. Let's just flip this over, get a look at the output jack. All right, so there you go. Nickel output jack cover. Like I said, just normal stuff, but that is actually where you plug in to charge as well. Just standard stuff there. And again, you can see that blue shade there of the maple top without the binding. Just looking really cool. Let's get one more full case, full body shot here of this guitar. All right, so there it is, the limited run 2007 Gibson Les Paul Robot Guitar First Edition. I love that blue burst. I think that's a great color, and supposedly Gibson is never going to use that color on any other guitar again, or so they have said. I guess that remains to be seen, but like I said, really nice guitar, nice playing guitar, and I don't think these deserve quite all the flack that they always get. Okay, so there is the 2007 limited edition robot guitar. Let's take this for a test drive. I'm just going to do what I usually do, and you'll kind of notice blindfolded test. You wouldn't know any difference. It's a Les Paul, mahogany body, maple top, humbucking pickups. Yeah, and it plays. The neck feels, you know, it's a nice C-shaped neck, what you'd expect out of a lot of Les Pauls. So, like I said, it's a nice guitar. Let's check it out and see how it sounds. Here we go. Okay, guys, so there is the 2007 Gibson Les Paul limited edition robot guitar. Like I said, if you can grab one of these, go ahead and grab it. It's just kind of a cool, different thing to add to your Gibson collection or guitar collection, Les Paul collection, whatever. I personally don't like to unbot these. I mean, they play great if they do, but like I say, you could use them anyway as regular tuners, so it's just kind of a different thing. Yes, it's not traditional Les Paul, but there's a gazillion of those out there, so go get one. This makes it something different, and obviously they quit making these, so it's just kind of a neat piece to have from that perspective. From a collector's perspective, it's a little bit different of a thing. So please comment below, you guys. What do you think? If you had one of these, did you hate it? Did you love it? Do you still have it? Did you get rid of it? Did you hate robot tuners right out of the gate as absolute junk? I gotta say for myself, I never went out and bought one. Again, if I have the money and I'm going to buy a Les Paul, I'm going to get a Les Paul. So, I mean, again, I'm one of the traditionalists that I guess kind of didn't go along with that whole thing. But that being said, I never slagged on them and I never had a problem with them until, like I said earlier, it got to the point where Henry was saying, from now on, all our guitars are going to be like this. And it's like, oh no, Henry, what are you doing? Like, if you want to have some like that, that's fine, but don't just take over the entire Gibson line with... So yeah, I think he got a little bit crazy with that, and obviously we know where that went and how it ended up. So Henry was gone, and that was the end of that. But anyways, comment below with your experiences and your opinions on these. I'd like to know. Find me on Facebook at Todd Beebe Music. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. We always have all things guitar going on here. Guitar reviews, artist interviews, lessons, product reviews, great music memorabilia. Various things on here that are all somehow connected to the world of guitar. And it's always great to find other guitar and music lovers like all of you that already do subscribe to this channel and get on board with me. So thank you to each and every one of you. You know I appreciate it. So thanks so much for checking in today, and I will see you all again. Stay safe and love your dogs. Take care.